Happy Tuesday. Welcome everyone. Thanks for coming in tonight. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, and I am here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, where we relax and we craft and we work on a project together from beginning to end, and I'm here about an hour every evening. So we have been working on the Charming Chevrons quilt by Krista Watson of Krista Quilts. The link for this pattern is in the post here. And we have been working on the back. I have used all my scraps from the front to make the back and filled it in with our red fabric color. And I just have one more segment left for the back, and that's what we're going to sew tonight. We have it all laid out already. We did that a couple days ago, but I have just that last segment, the bottom right-hand quadrant. Then we'll sew the two bottom pieces together and then sew the top to the bottom. And then our back is just about done. All we have to do after that is add the border all the way around. So we may get to that tomorrow. So we might be in the living room again on the floor working on the border and maybe squaring this up a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, we'll just based on what happens tonight here. So thanks again for joining me, guys. I appreciate you popping in here. I'm going to flip you around and we'll get going. I hope you had a fabulous Tuesday today. Okay, we are back at it today. So our last segment is this tiny little half chevron. So we got all our big pieces done. So remember on Friday we did this piece here. We got that big chevron. We did that upside down chevron, and it leads into this other little chevron here. So this was the lower left hand corner, and we have the upper part done. Now we just have these couple of pieces here. So we got to sew these three guys together first. And then this guy goes up top, this goes in the middle, and then we have the bottom chunk here. The nice thing about this compared to our other piece, where we had to be the exact right amount before we could sew it together, this, all we have to do is trim off whatever is left over and we'll be fine. So it'll make that part of it a little bit easier for us tonight. So let's get sewing. I'm going to shush these guys to this side, shush our other part to this side here for now, so we have room to press, and we will need to trim these edges when we're done as well. But for now, we do not need these wonder clips. Let's get rid of those. I had just clipped these to kind of keep each segment together. We also took a photo of it beforehand, and I've been using that as a guide too. But here we go. We'll sew, let's sew these two pieces together first because they're short, and then we'll sew it to this larger piece. So then there's less floppiness that we have to deal with. So hello everyone. I hope you're having a good evening. All right, there we go. I had a not so productive day today, but I suppose you need one of those every once in a while. I was just tired. I had a early morning errand to run, and I don't know about you, but I feel like more and more I need like the exact 8 hours of sleep, otherwise I am just useless, and which is just such a bummer because man, you used to not need any sleep, and now I need like all of the sleeps. It's horrible. Oh, you didn't get to see me live last night, Sue. Oh, it's all the new toys. I know. I gotta share my 2 new sewing machines. Ridiculous. I know that's a weird phrase. My 2 new sewing machines. I shared those last night. I got them at the world's largest textile garage sale that they had here on Saturday. I got a really cool 2 Kenmores actually, which is kind of funny. This is a Kenmore as well, a Sears Kenmore, and I wanted just the one, but I wanted a cabinet for it, and they were selling a Kenmore cabinet, and it happened to have another machine in for like way cheap. So I'm like, okay, I guess to get the cabinet, I got to get this other machine. So I got 2 machines so I could get the cabinet. But I love it so much. I can't wait to just really start using it. Mastershop has the LED lights for sale. Oh, on the sewing machines. So I saw, yeah, so we were talking about, it has a lamp on it, that sewing machine that I got, and it's so hot, like it's gonna burn my hand right off. And yeah, you guys mentioned possibly. Ooh, let's iron first. I was gonna trim this already, but we need to press first. Sorry for the wonkiness. But yeah, you guys had mentioned that they make like LED replacement bulbs, which sounds amazing. So I did look into those. I'm waiting a tiny bit for that because also from eBay, I have a bid out right now for a different lamp. So if you guys remember last night, the lamp that I have, the machine is cool. It's like crinkly, matte black metal. So it's just like a really cool look, right? But the lamp for it is this shiny silver, like this cheap looking thing that doesn't really match. And there is another, model. There's another model of the machine that I got. The machine looks just about the same. The front area is a little different, but the lamp matches the machine. So the lamp has those like those beveled edges, and it's made out of that crinkle steel, the same color matte black. And I happen to find someone selling. It's kind of connected to the motor, so they were selling this really old, scary-looking motor with one of those lights. So now the light is actually for a different model. I think just like a little later model. But I love the lamp because it totally matches, right? So I put a bid out for that, and we'll see if we get that. And I'm going to check on that first because I think it needs to be rewired. It's going to be a whole deal just to like update the look of this thing. So it's like this whole thing, whole matchy thing instead of the silver. I'm missing a rotary cutter. Cleaned up a little and then put all my tools away. So we'll see what that's all about. It might be just null because I don't know if I'll be able to rewire it myself, or I don't know. We'll see. Oh, geez, I'm slipping everywhere. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with that lamp if I get it. Once you see it, you'll know what I mean because it matches perfectly. It's too cool. So after that, I will make sure that I get the right size bulb for that. But I do want to get that LED bulb because that just sounds super duper smart. I'm stoked for that for sure. Totally makes sense. Then I don't have to melt my skin off my arm on accident with that crazy lamp. So I'm just trimming my edge down here a little bit. Make sure I'm lined up though. There we go. Had a lot extra up there. But I love it. And so I also from eBay, I got an eBay order sent to me today. I received it, but I got, you know, I talked about, I still have my husband's great-grandmother's singer from 1929. 1929, either 1927 or 1929, I can't remember. But here we go, here's this. But I have a cabinet for it that I've just been using as kind of like a desk in my office, just kind of like an extra little desk. But I realized, hey, the singer would fit in here, but it was missing the hinges. So all these sewing machines have these crazy special hinges so it can support the weight of these things. First of all, these things are massively heavy. And we'll press it after. So these hinges are special. They have to hold up this crazy amount of weight. and they have to go two ways. So they have to go up so you can access underneath, and then they can go into the cabinet. So they're these wacky hinges that are kind of like these little magic tricks. These hinges, how they can hold up a whole sewing machine and just dangle a sewing machine from these hinges. So my cabinet was missing those, and I found some on eBay and ordered those. So I got to screw those in, and then I can screw in my husband's great-grandmother's sewing machine. So I'm hoping to have that in my office soon, and I'll be sure to take photos and stuff for you guys. I do want to... It's in bad shape, the cabinet, as far as like water stains and stuff. And I'll take a photo of that too for you guys. I'll post it here on the Penguin and Fish page. Oh gosh, I had a brain freeze for a second there. I thought that I was sewing this on the wrong side, but I think we're right. But yeah, so tomorrow I'm hoping to, well, I don't know, it might end up being the weekend. I'm hoping to get his sewing machine in the cabinet too. But the cabinet that I got yesterday, or over the weekend, and this cabinet that I'm going to put the Singer in, I would like to restain them both. Like make the, just, you know, clean up the wood. I think I probably have to sand it a little bit. And then I want to stain it. I want to stain them both like a little darker color, and then like wax it and all that. So I want to make the cabinets nice, like nice pieces of furniture. They've just been, the one in my office has just been sitting around for ages, and it's just in really poor shape. So yeah, I'll get the machines in. And I'll just have to take them out right away to stain them, but I don't know when exactly I'll get to the staining. So for now, the machine can at least be in. So there's some weekend plans. Weekend plans, I'm thinking, yeah. All right, I am going to clip this or pin it with the Wonder Clips. I didn't on the last stretch, and made me a little nervous because it's floppy. So I'm going to just add just maybe two clips. Oh God, bright red would be so beautiful, Bonnie, I think. That would be fun. And I actually really like the navy idea too. Originally I was going to, oop, it was already on. Originally I was thinking I would just paint it, but now I kind of want to stain them both because I feel like I might lose a little bit of, I don't know, I feel like I'm messing with history a little bit by painting it, which is just so stupid, because I like the idea of painting it. But I like the idea of seeing the wood yet, and that would kind of go away if I painted it. So I'm thinking what I'd like to do is stain it like a really dark brown, like almost a black or a charcoal, where you could still see the grain of the wood and everything, and it would still like look like wood. It would just be really dark, which would go with our living room too. And I think this is the cabinet, the small cabinet that I got with the Kenmore, the old Kenmore, the Kenmore 83. That I think I'm going to have by a window in the living room. And it's going to be mostly in cabinet format, just because, you know, if I have the sewing machine showing, then I got to have it all unfolded, and we live in a really small house, and I don't have room to have it completely unfolded where I can see the sewing machine out right now, which is a huge bummer, but at least it'll be back there and I can flip it up every once in a while and sew on it maybe. I don't know, maybe I can figure out a way or somewhere to put it that I can have it open, and because I'd love to see the machine, just see the machine sitting there. But for now I will have that with John's great-grandma's machine, because that will all of a sudden finally be out and shown, because that's just been hiding away. And that's sad. I don't want her old machine just hanging out in a closet, or, you know, it's still attached to its carrying case, and because it's not in a cabinet, and I don't know. Bums me out, so I'm going to be happy that at least that one is out and visible to me in my little studio office here, at least. But would like that crinkle, that black crinkle one out. We're kind of in the process of hopefully getting, I don't know, we're doing the whole KonMari thing really probably, so we're trying to get rid of some excess furniture and stuff like that, because like for trade shows, for like quilt markets and stuff, I would get some furniture for my booth, and we have a bunch of that furniture around still, and so we got random little chairs and random little tables and just all these acquirements, and we're kind of over it and want to free up some space. So maybe once we do all that, I can have the sewing machine sitting out. And I realized that I did just get 2 more sewing machines, and they're big and bulky, and that's not getting rid of stuff. But I have the hope that I'll find a place for it where I can have it sit out. But okay, we got this bottom quadrant here done. Let's just take a look at it quick. So I would like to. Oh yeah, I didn't trim it yet. So let's just give it a trim. This is actually pretty straight on this side, but I'll give that a trim too. So we're just gonna fold it in half. I'm gonna do it so I can see the my little half chevron there. Fold it in half, and we'll get a little trim, and I do want to trim the top. I'm not going to worry about trimming the bottom because we're going to just take all of that off. We're just going to sew starting from the top, and whatever's hanging over the edge afterwards, we're going to just chop off. So I don't need to square that up. But I do want to get a relatively straight edge here because it's all just a little wonky. So I'm just folding it and then trying to put the fold on one of my rule lines, and I think that's going to give me a straight enough edge here. All right, I think we got to go right there. So we're trimming quite a bit off, but again, we got that little jagged edge there. Right now, that new old sewing machine is sitting in the corner over here in its cabinet, and it just wants to be out, and it's not, and we're going to figure that out, though. You know what? I'm not going to worry about the outer edge either, because this will end up being on the outside. And we will lay the whole thing out and press the whole thing and then trim that as well. So really all I need to deal with is this top edge, because this top edge is actually going to be attached to another thing. So that edge that the edge that we just cut, I'm aligning it to a straight edge on the ruler again, on the mat. So we know we have a nice square 90-degree angle edge when we're done here. Because I cut all this by hand with the scissors on the floor, so nothing's square. All right, here we go. There's some selvage on here too yet. So, all right, we should be good now. Okay, so this is the bottom right. And the bottom left is right here. So now we're going to get the pins out. It looks like we did a straight enough edge here. So this guy just hovers right here like this. And yeah, that's that. So let's put right sides together. I'm going to start from the top, line up the top all nice, and then wherever the bottom lands is where it's going to land, and we'll trim it later. So this is where we're going to start clipping again. just because it's pretty floppy. And it'll be less work for me to keep the edges together. But we don't need many because I don't have to line anything up here. Like I don't have to line up any of the, there's no like points to line up or anything. Ooh, see, it's a bit longer, but we knew that going in. So we're gonna trim that off. Okay, that's good enough. Let's sew this up. I'm gonna move the board this time just because, you know, it blocks the reflection from the lamp, but it's so much slipperier on the fabric if I don't have that there. All right. One quick little seam. So I do have a little TV tray in the basement, and I think I might bring that up because we're getting to the point where we have these big, long edges to sew, and all the bulk keeps wanting to fall off the table here. So if I have a tray, one of those TV trays to my left, then my fabric won't fall on the floor. It'll just be held up by the tray. Or at least that's what you guys have suggested, and I'm going to give it a try. I have super duper limited space to my left, but we're going to give it a try anyway. I'm going to see if I can get it to fit up here. All right. Almost there. So we just need to press this, and then we can sew this to the upper portion, the upper half of the back. And that will be that. We will have all that funny, scrappy chevron piecing, improv piecing. That will be done. All we need to do yet is we will trim this down. And I don't know if well, yeah, you know what? We're going to try and get it as square as possible. And by square, I just mean that like all the edges or all the corners are at 90 degrees. So we don't have any like weird wonkiness going on. And so we'll trim that, and then we need to do math. We need to figure out the you know, the width and height of it so we know what to put on for the borders. But then I don't think we need to be on the floor again for that. You know, when we did all this, we were on the living room floor attempting, you know, crawling around on the floor, piecing this together. But with math, I shouldn't have to do that. So we may just be sitting down here doing math tomorrow. We'll see. I don't know. Because I need help with math in the evening. But yeah, so we just need to know how many inches to put on the sides and the top and bottom, and then we just need to cut those right off the bolt. So I have this red as a bolt, and that's all that needs to happen. Then we sew them on. Oh, you know what? We do kind of need to be on the floor to pin them though, don't we? I'd like to find a solution to the floor, but I don't really have a table big enough or a wall big enough or free to do it, and I actually barely fit on the floor, so I don't know. But like for I just put a kink in this. But for the borders, you know, I want to do that thing where you pin the edges and then the middle, and then you kind of ease it so that you know everything's that exact, the border will be the exact right size when it's done. Like it'll stay square because we know that our border pieces are the right size, so if anything moves around or a little bit, we'll still be okay. So that's going to require floor work. Actually, it probably wouldn't, but it's probably going to be easier on the floor. Then we can maybe give this a good press too. I don't know, we'll see. Maybe we'll have a couple short days because we'll have to press this all and trim it. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to have to figure it out because I can't really go from the living room to here. So we'll just be jumping around somehow. All right, we got this whole bottom done now. There's that little floating half chevron in there, kind of next to this big upside down one. And now we just need to get it to the top piece. So the top piece is right here. And from my photo, this point should be right in between these two other points. So let's take a look. Yeah, so it should match up with this seam here is what I wanted. So I'm going to just flip that, and we are going to clip. We're going to pin with the Wonder Clips right on that seam. So hopefully we can get those two seams to match, and then everything else doesn't have to be so matched up. I don't think. This is the only necessary one. All right, now we're dealing with bulk. We don't even have the, yeah, use the big ironing board in the living room. Oh, and I have the cordless iron now, so we might actually be able to do that. I'm just kind of remembering how much of a pain it was last time I tried to iron and do this in the living room, but that was before, well, it was when I was using the small ironing board, and it was before the cordless iron. So you're right, that might be a little bit easier. I think I'm going to open this seam so I have two open seams facing each other. Hopefully that works. Yeah. We'll have to measure, get the tape measure out, and ugh. I think that's going to be my least favorite part, all that measuring and figuring and crawling around on the floor, but it'll be just about done. We got to do that for the border and the borders, and then just the quilting, the pinning the batting and the top and the bottom together. That will probably be on the floor again, just because of space. I haven't figured out a different space issue for that. Get the Wonder Clips, the whole big thing of Wonder Clips out. I need like knee pads or something. We'll figure it out. Then it'll be done. So there should be enough fabric overlap here. We'll be trimming quite a bit down. Yeah, see, there's a whole pile that we didn't cut off here. That's on purpose. So it's that sort of stuff. We'll need to trim. So I might need to get some cutting boards down on the ground. Or we could eyeball it like how we did the rest of this and just, you know, have it be a little wonky. There's nothing really wrong with that either. Okay, let's pin from that center up. And then we are in sewing territory. All right. We do have a little point that I'd kind of like to get here. We'll see how it goes. Good, we have an overlap here as well, which we'll trim. So if we get close with that center meeting up, then we'll be good. Okay, that is that. Let's sew this up. This thing doesn't close very well. There we go. Last seam. So we will have to press this. I might wait to press this tomorrow, because if we are over in the living room and on the floor, we're going to want to give this the whole thing a really good press, because we're going to want to trim it and measure it correctly. So I might just wait to do that big seam, this big hole seam, when I have the big board together. The big ironing board art. Oh, Robin, you love seeing the new babies, the new sewing machines. Oh, and you were able to catch the live broadcast. Yeah, I did a teeny tiny Facebook Live from the textile garage sale. Then I ran out of batteries. And data too, basically. So it was short. It's funny because when I was walking around a little bit during the Facebook Live, I was like, "Wow, there's hardly any people here." I think I was filming around lunchtime. They had a food truck there too. Oh, I forget what the food truck was, but it was good. We had a sandwich, and man, food trucks in town are so good. And such a funny thing, right? Let's have the food truck at the sewing sale. It was just crowded. It was so hard to walk around, and it was just too overwhelming. I mean, you know, I originally went because I wanted to find some mesh fabric, but just going through all the fabric was just too much. Too overwhelming. But man, all those sewing machines, oh man, I could have brought home more for sure. I mean, like I said, that Singer with the oh gosh, what is that? Not, I always want to say the treadle, but that's not the shuttle. The shuttle, that Singer sewing machine with the shuttle bobbin instead of the round bobbins that we're used to. That was pretty cool. That's an old machine, and that was like $10. You know what I mean? Ugh. Why don't people like cherish those more than $10? I just don't get it. I mean, yes, they produced a bunch of them and everything, but still, I don't know. The hubs even said I should, like, oh, get that one and get this one, you know? But I'm like, we do not have the space. I can't just be buying all these sewing machines just to save them. I feel like I'm saving them, you know, that they're only $10 and, you know, which means no one cares for them if they're just these $10 things. Well, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with all the ones that didn't get sold. Like, it's just so sad. Oh, the machine you learned on had one of the shuttle bobbins, Sharon. Oh, that's so cool. I had just learned that was a thing in that Singer Sew Like Your Grandma book that I just read. And I don't know, I'm just fascinated. But yeah, I turned the sewing machine a little bit, and you could see the shuttle just go whoosh, 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 back and forth. You know, it's not like the wheel where it just stays in one space. It shimmies back and forth, and I don't know. I love the creativity and the technical stuff like together, like the machinery and the creativity together, and just seeing it how it changes through the models and through the years. I don't know. I find that completely fascinating. You know, they're making decisions on how can we improve this, or what should this look like, and it's totally shows a history of you know, the world too. I just think it's so interesting and You know, and quilts are the same thing. Like when you know, people just throw quilts outside, or, you know, it's the dog blanket or whatever, you know, some heirloom thing that their great grandma made, you know, by hand, you know, like, you know, 3,000 1-inch squares that were hand sewn together or something, you know what I mean? That's now the dog bed. It's just like, oh man. Bums me out. Same with beautiful $10 sewing machines. Bums me out. All right. We are sewn. And, you know, don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with a brand new sewing machine. They are fancy and wonderful, but man, I feel like I'm saving history somehow by getting these machines, using these old machines. All right. Ooh, dang, we got a good point on that too. I wasn't, I forgot about that point, but that's a good point. The other one that we were really looking at is this one, and that matched up with this seam really well, which is great because then this point is going to come to the point up of the red that's happening up higher here. Oh, I guess I went past these two, and that's a pretty good point as well. So yay, that was good. So we actually have this back done minus the borders. So tomorrow I will, yeah, I think we'll be out in the living room again, maybe for the next couple days actually. Maybe they might be shorter, just like kind of what we can do. I don't know, depends on the space and the maneuvering. But yeah, I'll get the bigger ironing board out and we'll press that seam that we just sewed and then press this whole thing. Then we have to trim it down because I have some of those edges that aren't quite right, and then we got to do some math for the borders, and then we'll cut the borders. Cutting the borders, that maybe will, well, I don't know, maybe we can do that on the floor too. We'll see how it goes. I'll just like convert the living room to like some weird, it'll all be on the floor though because I don't have any tables out there, but anyway, I'll figure it out. But yeah, we're like practically done with this guy. So I'm gonna flip you guys around and I will show you this. It's a pretty quick thing today, but man, we finished this up. Oh, Julie, you have 10 vintage machines. And Robin, you have you have a quilt that your grandmother made. Oh, from your mother's baby's clothes. See, that is just the best. And you have 10 vintage machines, Julie, 3 old machines and 2 modern machines. Nice. Could have gotten them and opened a museum for all machines. Well, I did have them all lined up on this wall. I'm like, oh, dang, we're gonna... Are you guys familiar with All Saints? It's a clothing store, but if you ever see it on Pinterest or something, they're the store that has all those old Singer sewing machines in the window display. It's just floor to ceiling, like, you know, 20-foot ceiling of Singers, just floor to ceiling, like, you know, it has to be like 200 per store sort of thing. So it's All Saints is what that store is, but I had all my machines lined up on the shelf here behind me because I was cleaned up the table here a little bit today. I'm like, we're working towards that All Saints, All Saints wall. Sometime when we like, you know, if we ever move from here or, you know, build shelves here, it's just going to be a shelf of sewing machines and people are going to walk in here and think I'm a crazy person. So anyway, I'm going to stand up on the chair here and give you guys a show of this. This is the whole back now minus the border. So it'll be easier to see tomorrow because I'll have it on the floor. But the top, oh, remember we got that little floater right there. And so we got those big chevrons that kind of take up the whole top. Let's see how I'm going to do this. Fold it up, and as we go down, we got those ones that were made out of all our little crinkly scraps. And that's the center, and then we did the stuff below that today. Got one little upside down one over on the edge there. Let's see if I can grab some more. And there's that upside down one. Oh, and our little half chevron. This is what we did today. That little halvesy floating out there, and then the ones that we did on Friday. And that's that. That is the back. Yeah, so all we need is that extra little border around it, and we'll figure that out tomorrow. We'll trim, we'll press, trim, measure. I had to laugh just because that just sounds like the worst thing to do in the evening is try and do math and measure. So I'm going to definitely need help with that. And then hopefully we can cut on the floor out here, whatever from the bolt that we need. Oh, it's just going to be kneeling on the floor all evening, but we'll get it done. And then hopefully we can even maybe pin a little bit to it. So we'll do that thing where we put a fold in the middle and then match the middles of the center of this quilt and the borders, and then figure out the pins in there. If we can at least get the like left and right side pinned or wonder clipped, then we'll be good. Can you put the front on the back to see how much bigger the back needs to be? That's a good idea, Linda. I think that's probably where we should start. Yeah, you know what? I think we'll press it first and we'll trim it, because we're going to want it sort of square and trimmed. And then after that, I think, yeah, let's lay down the front and then lay the back on there and see, you know, how much we're talking on all the sides. Because this was random. I might need like a lot more on the top and bottom than I need on the sides. We'll just have to see. And, you know, maybe we want the top to be a little less big than the bottom. I don't know. So we'll do that, I think, Linda. And then we do have to add extra, like probably at least 4 inches around the whole entire thing too, because we want the back just a little bit bigger than the front in case it just stretches out a little bit during quilting. So yeah, I think we got a general plan here. We'll see how far we get tomorrow, and hopefully we can get all that done tomorrow so we can sew again on Thursday, but we'll see. But yeah, back into the living room tomorrow. All right, so that's the plan. I'm going to head off for the night then. Thanks again, guys, for joining me. And I got to talk more about my machines that I love so much, my new old sewing machines. And yeah, we will get this going. Super happy to be this far on the back of this quilt. I can't wait to see it all laid out. So, all right, guys, I'll get this up on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies, and I will see you tomorrow. Good night.